everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Renée Jordan, and today we are going to take a look at a workshop that I put together for one of the A&T universities. They are having a summer program with middle school to high schoolers, so rising 8th to 12th graders. And so, as my practice, I like to actually do a dry run of what the results will look like from the perspective of someone using it. And so please come along with me as I give it a test drive. This is a exciting opportunity because it actually focuses on agriculture as well as STEM, so ag STEM. And so that allowed me to expand the types of material and prompts and images that I've been working with. And so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so here we are at the Black-Liberation.Tech website. As always, it is available in both English and Spanish. And since the entire menu does not appear, I'm going to hover over more and then hover over Janiyah. We've done the intro workshop, and here is the new workshop, or I should say Discovery Lab, Ag STEM Career Discovery Lab. And here we have the page for the Ag STEM Career Discovery Lab with Janiyah GPT. So let's take a look at what we should expect in this lab. Exploring agriculture, technology, and community impact. Agriculture is a field built on generations of knowledge, innovation, and stewardship. Today, Ag STEM careers combine the foundation with science, technology, engineering, mathematics, artificial intelligence, health, food systems, and environmental sustainability to solve complex problems and create opportunities for communities around the world. This activity empowers you to explore ag STEM pathways aligning with your interests, values, and goals, while mastering AI as a thoughtful collaborator, not merely a source of answers. Okay, so the learning goals for this activity. By the end of this activity, you should be able to use AI, specifically Janiyah GPT, as a thinking partner rather than an answer machine. Build stronger prompts using context and purpose. Explore ag STEM majors and careers aligned with your interest. Critically evaluate Janiyah GPT's responses. Identify at least one ag STEM pathway you had not previously considered. Okay, so before you begin, how will you use AI? Janiyah GPT is designed to be a thinking partner, not a replacement for your thinking. As you work through this Ag STEM Career Discovery Lab, consider the crucial difference between using AI as an assistant and using AI on autopilot. So let's take a look at the differences. AI as an assistant helps me think, suggests options, supports learning, requires verification, expands possibilities. AI on autopilot thinks for me, makes decisions for me, replaces learning, assumed correct, meaning you don't double check, you just think it's right, narrows curiosity. So take a moment to reflect. Which approach will help you learn the most? Which approach will better prepare you for college and careers? Which approach aligns with your goals and values? So for me, it's going to be the AI as an assistant. So let's take a look at the next part. As you move through this activity, remember, you are the decision maker. AI can help you explore possibilities, ask better questions, and discover opportunities you may not have considered. However, you are responsible for evaluating information, verifying facts, and deciding what is right for you. Before moving to step one, write one sentence. How will I use AI as an assistant rather than an autopilot? So go ahead and think about that. Let's go to step one. All right. Reflect. Before engaging with Janiyah GPT, take a moment to understand your core motivations. This personal reflection will help you formulate more meaningful prompts and discover pathways that truly align with your aspirations. Identify your core interest. Write down 3 to 5 areas that genuinely excite you, even if they are not on the list. These will serve as a foundation for your exploration in step 3. All right, so here we have animals, plants, technology, health, environment, food, business, art and design, helping people, community service, data and research, building things. Okay, so for me, I'm going to write these down. Actually, as is my practice, I'm going to take a moment to open a Word document so that I can copy and paste what I want to use during this activity into Janiyah GPT when it comes time. So I'm going to copy this part so I can keep track of what's what. Identify core interests. I'm going to say that my core interests include technology, art and design, and helping people. Now, community service can look like different things. For me, my community service is Black-Liberation.Tech. It is an open educational resource. That means you're allowed to use it, remix it, make it your own, and share it. Just, you know, put a note that says, hey, I got this from Black-Liberation.Tech. When someone sees what you have done, they'll know where you got it from and also where they can go in order to get more information on how to use AI. All right, so I have my 3. Let's take a look at the next section. Deepen your reflection. Ponder these questions to uncover your passions and potential impact. Your responses will guide your conversations with Janiyah GPT. So I'm going to copy the deepen your reflection once again so I can keep track of what's going on. And the first one, what do you enjoy learning about on your own? So I enjoy learning about artificial intelligence on my own. All right, so I have that written down. What problems would you like to help solve? I would like to help people solve their challenges and pain points by using AI as an assistant, specifically training them on prompt engineering in ways they have not considered previously. Okay, so with that being said, I am very glad to share that I was able, this is random but related, I was able to do a workshop with some colleagues through a seed grant that was awarded to us from the Atlanta Interdisciplinary AI Network. And so that network is funded by the Mellon Foundation, and we had the workshop last week. It went really well. There were people in that workshop who were also in a workshop with me in January, and they were able to learn something new, something different, something else to consider that they hadn't thought of. Someone noted, oh, I wish I had this while I was in grad school, but I have something else that I can do with it. So that was very encouraging. That's the kind of things that I love to do. I like to help people think about how they can use technology to help them with their needs at the moment or in their future endeavors. Okay, so what issues in your community matter most to you? In my community, AI literacy matters the most to me. And just a little bit more, I want to make sure that they have opportunities to explore, to see what it's like. There's some people who are still new to AI, and I want to help them see how they can use it or see how it is being used, even if they choose not to use it. It's good to have AI literacy, have a good understanding of the tools, what they're used for, how they gather their data, what safety measures should be taken, and That's important because then they can have that information for themselves, they can share it with others, and they can make informed decisions about whether or not they choose to use it. So, whether it's adding more to say, you know what, I'm not going to use AI because I'm someone who deals with proprietary information and I don't want to put that information into a large language model because what happens is once it leaves me and goes to them, then those big corporations have that information and they can use it or it could show up in somebody else's results. So if I'm dealing with proprietary information, I'm skeptical about sharing information because I want to make sure that the value of that proprietary information does not decrease. I want to make sure that I can patent it without being concerned that it will be shared with someone that I'm not partnering with on the endeavor. And so that's why I don't use AI. That is fine. And for those who choose to use it, what safety measures are you taking into consideration? Are you saying, hey, I'm going to use it, but I'm going to make sure I don't put any personal identifiable information in it so that it does not send it to the manufacturers or the data centers so that they have that personal identifiable information and it could become taken and used in ways that are not positive. There are bad actors out in the world, and we want to make sure that we safeguard our personal identifiable information, not just from bad actors, but from people and things, including artificial intelligence, that don't need it. Because what happens, those bad actors can hack the people that you trust and have access to your personal identifiable information, and that can cause issues. So that's a part of AI literacy as well. Okay, so let's keep going. What kind of impact would you like to make on the future? Okay, so as it relates to the future, I want to enhance and advance the opportunities that people in my community have to explore AI and other emerging technologies. Okay, and I'll just put future impact as the prefix to this. All right. So I'll remember what it is about. That's an example of how you deepen reflection. And for those of you who are educators out there, this is what I call doing a think aloud. My chemistry teacher, specifically honors chemistry, AP, IB teacher, she would work through problems and allow us to hear her thought processes so that when we would repeat the steps, we can consider the different decisions she made along the way. Now, this doesn't mean that I want you to write down my answers and then put them in. You can, but I want you to think about the questions and how you can go about answering them so that you can provide a fair amount of detail so that when it goes into your prompt, it will be a prompt that is tailored just for you. That means it's not going to look like anyone else's. It's not going to be a generic response. It is going to take what you have written as a part of the way in which it gathers data or information from the internet in order to provide you with a response. So the more words that you have in your prompt that are specific to you, the closer the output will be. Does that mean it's going to be perfect? No. Does that mean that it's going to be the answer? No. That means it is a possible response. So the reason we say thinking partner is because AI can serve as a second pair of eyes, a second pair of ears, a second pair of hands digging through the internet to find possible responses to you. Okay, let's keep moving. Just so you know, the images in this workshop were generated by Gamma App and Janiyah GPT. So what I have done to help me situate things, I'm not a graphic designer. I use Gamma App to help me think about how I can lay out the website and it creates images to go along with that. Okay, so this note down here says take time to jot down your answers. This clarity will empower you to use AI as a more effective thinking partner? All right, so I've jotted down my answers on the Word document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push pause here and we'll come back next week and pick up where we left off. With all of that being said, thank you for listening to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast. I am your host, Dr. Renée Jordan. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share, rate, and review the podcast to help it become more discoverable. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.